First of all, welcome everyone to Agile Coaching Roundtable. This is our 25th session, and this is our guest speaker session. And today we have Philadelphia Tivoli as our guest speaker. I'll not take much of the introduction because that's the intention of this topic or a session about. So she would be walking us through our journey, through her journey. So just a quick introduction. Philadelphia has recently started a job as a Scrum Master. Previously, she was into marketing. She has been a business agile coach, and she's a certified Scrum Master now. And she's also done ICP ATF, ATF, that is Agile Team Facilitation certification, like very recently. So looking forward from lot of insights from this session today, Philadelphia. Your journey has been really inspiring. And not to forget that she is also host of Agile Women Wednesday. So she hosts the event wherein she tags all the wonderful people, especially women in Agile, and encourages them to share their thoughts, share their learnings, journey, etc. So kudos for that, Philadelphia. We would also like to hear more about that as well in this session today. So looking forward for you, and the floor is all yours.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Ramya, for the invitation. It's really cool what you created here, and I'm really happy to be a part of it. And also, thank you for always showing up for Agile Women Wednesday. It's always nice to see you and your thoughts on the thread every week. So yeah, and thank you for everybody for coming. So yeah, I guess I'll start at the beginning. So I was working in marketing and business, and that was, I was doing that for over 10 years, and I just got to a point where I wanted something different, wanted something new, and I started looking at what I could get into. So I live in Serbia, and I live in a very small town called Kraljevo. There's not a lot of opportunity here for me, especially as an English speaker. My Serbian's not so great. So I knew I had to find something that was online, and I was looking at like jobs in tech that were non-technical. So although I did end up doing like a JavaScript boot camp, see what that was like, and software testing boot camp, and I was just kind of trying different things. And then I came across the Scrum Master role, and I had a look at what it entailed and realized that I had a lot of transferable skills from things that I had done in the past. So I decided that I would transition into tech, and I wanted to become a Scrum Master. And the way that I did that was, first I just wanted to learn as much as I could online. So I did, sort of short courses just to get my head around what it was. And then I decided, sort of around the same time, I decided to get my CSM and to try and implement Scrum and Agile in the work that I was already doing. So in the marketing team that I was already working with, I tried to implement that because it's really difficult to get a Scrum Master position without any experience. Like it's one of those, it's to find a junior Scrum Master role is really difficult, does it? It's not really, it rarely happens. So yeah, you've got to kind of show that you can do it. And if you can't, like my advice for you is, like, if you can't use Scrum and Agile in your work currently, if that's not an option, then to try and use it in some kind of personal project of your own, something outside your work, anything. Like I've seen on LinkedIn people using Scrum to plan their wedding, to build their house, all sorts of different things. So actually, you might want to follow Jeremy Randall if you're not already. He has he has a lot of cool posts. Hashtag Scrumify your life. So here's sort of tips on different ways that Scrum can help you in your personal life or your personal projects. And he's going to have a book coming out. So yeah, very cool stuff. So sorry, I've lost my thought now. Talking about Jeremy. Hang on. So oh yeah. So that's right. So if you can't apply Scrum or Agile in your work, try to find a personal project that you can do that, and you can start applying what you've learned, and then you can put those things on your resume. You know, you can say that you've done them, you've implemented those things, and that counts. You know, so I got my CSN, and that was amazing. I had a really great instructor, and from there I started updating my resume, so completely rewriting it because you know, it was all marketing and business and was all geared towards that, and I had to like look at the job posts for Scrum Masters and sort of find what were, like, first of all, like what are the transferable skills that I have that I can bring, that I can put on my resume, and also like how can I guess how can I tailor my resume to the job posting, to the description. So a lot of rewriting and sort of looking at my resume from a different perspective and trying to highlight all the things that the job post said. And after that, I also kept up my learning. So it's not just like a CSM or PSM that you want. Things like, even like little short courses on Miro, or like Mural or Jira, just so that you can put it on your resume and say, look, I might not have used Jira, say, in a work setting, but you know, I know enough about Jira. I've learned how to use it, and that can be really helpful if they want you to use Jira or DevOps or whatever that company uses. So yeah, then I started applying for jobs, which is not the fun part. Like learning about it and that's fun. But yeah, applying for jobs, not so much. So I ended up interviewing with about 6 different companies, which was, yeah, big learning experience. And in I think, I don't know, maybe about 12 interviews over all that. So my advice on this is, if you have a bad interview, don't let it get you down, because I had one that was like really bad. Really bad, but you know, I'm kind of glad that it went badly, because I think I wouldn't have been a good fit for them anyway, and I wouldn't have been a good culture fit, I don't think. So yeah, I tried to, I watched a lot of videos actually on, there's a lot of videos on YouTube with like Scrum Master questions and sort of ways to tackle them, Scrum Master interview questions. I did that. There's a lot of information. There's a lot of free information online. So if you just Google like Scrum Master job interview questions, you'll come up with tons. So you just go over those, think about how you can answer them, and think about examples that you can bring from your previous experience, or even if you don't have a personal example, to think of like scenarios that you can bring up and talk about. Well, if in this scenario, if something like this happened, then this is how I would tackle it. So even if you don't have, because they might ask you for an example from your experience, and if you don't have it, just talk about a scenario and work your way through it and show them how you would use your problem-solving skills to deal with that. So that's what I did. And my advice, on some other advice I'd give, is just be yourself, because you know, it's a lot easier. It's a lot easier not to have to put on an act, and you know, they're going to choose you from like how you represent yourself. And then if it turns out you're a completely different person, it's just not going to be, you know, a fit for either of you. So if you're funny, be funny. If you're really detailed, talk about the details. Just be yourself. Yeah. So I got a couple of offers, and then I chose the best one for me. And then I just felt really, really lucky because I really needed a job that I could do from home, remotely. I have 2 kids, so it was important for me to have that. And I have some flexibility with my time during the day as well. If I need to pick up the kids, it's okay. So I work at a company called ACRT Guest, and they're based in the UK, but they have team members like all over. So in the teams that I have now, we're from UK, Serbia, India, Romania, maybe a couple of other places. And it's great. It's a really diverse group of people, lots of different ideas, and everyone's really open to helping each other out. And it's that made it really a lot easier when I first started. I started in August, so it's almost been 3 months, and it's been a lot of learning. I've taken on 2 teams. I've got one scrum team, and another team that's more of we're I don't know how to explain. We're doing sort of we just did a design sprint, and we're kind of doing this, looking at innovation for this quarter, this PI. So not a typical, we don't have the typical sprints with with actually, to be fair, maybe the first sprint we had wasn't a typical sprint with the typical Scrum ceremonies, but now it's sort of moving that way as we sort of refine our ideas more. So that's been cool because I've been able to work with 2 very different teams. I've been able to, like Ramya mentioned, I just did my Agile team facilitation certification. So that was provided for by the company, and I really enjoyed that. So there's like a lot of opportunities for learning. That's one thing you want to talk about in your interviews, like ask the company how they invest in their employees and what kind of learning, what kind of training do they provide? Because you want that. You want to know, ask them what their learning budget is, if they have a learning budget. So, because that's when you're weighing up things like their salary and different benefits, and you want to know that they invest in that, and that they want you to keep furthering your education, and that they play a part in that. I've also actually, I come full circle, I've also ended up interviewing new Scrum Masters already. So that's
great.
Gosh, yeah, that's a lot. It's a lot easier on this side, I can tell you. So if anybody has any questions about that, like I've been on both sides now, so I can tell you like what they're looking for and what is impressive, from that side of things. So what else? I guess.
So I have a question, Philadelphia. So you mentioned about the transferable skills, right? So you mentioned that while you were you were a marketing professional, you identified there were some transferable skills which you can take up as a Scrum Master. So actually, there are 2 questions I have. One is how come or how did you find out about this role? That is one. And second is, what were the transferable skills that you thought are important from your past experience for Scrum Master?
Okay, awesome questions. Okay, I'm going to try and find my resume so that I can talk on that. Hang on. So what was the first question was, how did I find out about Scrum Master?
Yep.
The Scrum Master role?
Yep.
No, I was looking at a lot of those lists where it's like the top like non-technical roles in tech or something like that, like the top paid roles in tech or something like that. And I came across Scrum Master. So I came across all these different roles, and like there's obviously software developers and software testers and things like that. But I knew that that wasn't a fit for me. And then I came across Scrum Master, and I'd never heard of it before. And I thought, what is this? And then I just did a deep dive into Scrum and Agile. Yeah, and the more I read about it, the more that I wanted to do it. Hang on. I cannot find any of my. Oh, here's the other tip that I wanted to give about resumes and applying for jobs is to the jobs that I really cared about, that I really put effort into, I rewrote my resume for like each job, like so that I wanted my resume to match the job description, sort of like exactly. So it was a no-brainer. So the person who's looking at it would look at it and go, "Oh my God, that's exactly what we're looking for." So they've got like a lot of they've got so many resumes to look through, and so you have to make it like really obvious. It's not up to them to think, oh, I guess she's got some trans for them. So some of the skills that I felt that I brought, I guess, okay, so coaching and facilitation. Okay. So I had experience in I'd experience in like business coaching. Okay. And just like working with clients and helping them plan things. Helping them plan their marketing strategies and things like that. So I had, I had coaching skills from the marketing side and the business side, and then I had facilitation skills. So facilitating meetings and facilitating just conversations. Just had those skills. Not not leading like that, not delegating, but just holding the space and letting them figure things out for themselves, letting them
opening up the ground for people to discuss, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. And making sure making sure that everybody has what's the word, making sure that nobody dominates conversations, that kind of thing, making sure everybody has an even space to talk and to share their knowledge and their views. So trying to work with different personalities, people who are more introverted, who are more extroverted, and sort of getting around that. There's a question here from
Mudassir has a question, I guess. Yes, Mudassir, please go ahead.
Hey, hi. Firstly, thanks a lot for sharing your journey with us, and really inspiring. I just had a quick question with regards to your transformation. So like Ramya mentioned that probably you came from a marketing background, and that was more like from a non-IT zone coming into the IT space. So definitely you must have come through a lot of tough questions on those side. Why you want to do the change and how you plan, why you're just picking this role in particular. So maybe if you could help us understand how did you navigate through those questions, and what you can bring onto the table for the Scrum Master role. I think that can help us understand how others also can answer those tough ones. If you don't mind sharing that with us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks. Yeah, great
Yeah.
question. So yeah, because I did get asked that in every interview. Why are you making this change? Like, what's driving that change? And I was just honest about it. Like, I had had enough of working in marketing. Like, I wanted something completely different.
Mm-hmm.
I was tired of doing that. I wanted a new challenge, and I wanted to do something where I could, where I'm not starting completely from nothing. Like, I wanted to
Right.
bring I've got years of experience, and I, want to bring that with me. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, was there another question?
Yeah, no, that was just on the same lines with regards to understanding, and also what skills maybe, like I think Ramya already asked what you
Yeah,
could bring to the table in a Scrum Master role,
I think,
Percy.
I think the things that I emphasized were like, so sort of the processes and the people. So like,
Mm-hmm.
just lots of different things that I had organized or put in place, um, uh, or yeah, just for example, maybe organized events, or
Mm.
organize any sort of meeting or things where you bring people together
Yeah,
and coach them through it and make sure that we have a result at the end of
yeah,
that.
yeah.
And the other thing is people. Like, people skills it's a really big thing
Right.
as a Scrum Master.
Critical
So
skills.
I tried to emphasize, soft skills. So communication and like your empathy and
Right.
emotional intelligence and listening
Yeah,
and
yeah,
conflict resolution. Those I tried to emphasize more because like things like, I guess, using Jira or Miro, like those are things that anybody can learn. You can pick that up
yeah.
and out. You
Right,
can figure out how to put on a retrospective. Those are
right.
sort of basic things, but it's those people skills and learning how to, um,
Yeah,
you learning how to see when somebody is struggling, even though they didn't say they were struggling.
true,
Trying to
true.
pick up on those things.
Yeah,
So yeah, that's, I think, and like when I was recently on the other side of and being the the interviewer, I think
mm-hmm.
that's the things that excited me most to hear when people talked about that, how they dealt with sort of difficult situations, or maybe as difficult team members, perhaps, or
Mm-hmm.
yeah. What was the other thing? Oh yeah, the other thing that really impressed me was when, say, if a candidate didn't know the answer to a question, that
Mm-hmm.
they were honest about it, but they tried to share how they would go about it anyway, like if they had never
Yeah.
done it, and that they had shared like just, and to be able to see a candidate's like thought process and
Mm-hmm.
see them work and how they would solve that problem.
Right.
That was huge, because you can see, oh, okay, so they didn't know it, and that's fine, because you come up against things that you don't know all the
True,
time in any
true.
job, and it's like, how are you gonna deal with it when you come
Yeah,
across it? So if you can communicate that, that's
that's right.
really
Well, thanks for sharing that information.
oh, thanks for
Just
the
just
question.
to add to your point, you are not alone in this journey. Just to
Absolutely.
share one of the things with you. I happened to meet one of my project colleague. He recently joined as a Scrum Master, and in the past he was working for good 18 years in the aviation industry.
Oh wow.
So from that journey, he was now a Scrum Master, and I can tell you, he's just rocking all over the place. So
Oh,
that's
amazing.
been really amazing. The way the enthusiasm is there, the way he's contributing, and how much he's appreciated by the teams and stuff like that. So it's absolutely all about how you plan to go about it, and what you want to achieve in your life. So kudos to people like you, actually.
Thank you so much. I'm really glad to hear that.
Yeah. Even we were quite surprised, actually, in the first place. After serving 18 long years, that's a good change. It's not easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. That's one thing that I love about the time we live in, is that we've got the opportunity to like make a complete change like that.
Yeah.
We've got,
Yeah.
it's the access to information. There's so many
Absolutely.
places online that you can go and start learning about something. You can go and, without even investing a lot, you can go and just learn
Exactly.
a little bit of that, and then figure out what you want to do, and then invest in that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
So we're really fortunate for that.
And also one more thing from my end is that you mentioned about writing and rewriting your resume over and over again, right? So
Yeah.
how did you manage to get that resume right so that it gets picked up? So nowadays what happens is, like, I mean, it is not like human filtered, right? So it's the ATS system that gets your resume filtered at the first
Yeah.
level, and then it goes to the HR. So
Yeah.
how did you manage to crack that code? As in, how did you write or rewrite your resume so that you get all the information right? And especially more because you are not from this background, right? So add the right transferable skills and add the right information so that it is highlighted plus it is picked up. How did you
Yeah.
manage that?
Okay, so yeah, I did try to match my resume to the job description, so to use the exact same keywords that they used. But honestly, I think you've got to write it for a human. So don't just stuff it full of keywords. You've got to write it for a human that's going to read it. But I wouldn't worry too much about that. I think it's more important to actually to network. So the company that I work for, the reason I got my foot in the door really was because I applied like through LinkedIn for the job, but then also I had previously I went to a Miro workshop online just to learn a bit more about Miro. And I noticed, and I got in touch with one of the people who was at the Miro workshop, and we just had a chat. We just connected on LinkedIn. She's a Scrum Master, and I just was trying to build my network and meet new people and that kind of thing. And yeah, she ended up. So she was working at the same company, and I asked her to take a look at my resume, and she said, "Oh, this is really good." And she ended up passing that on to the hiring manager or the recruitment. So networking is, I think, that actually that's something I didn't talk about. So networking and LinkedIn, how important that is. Just connecting with people.
I absolutely agree with you.
Yeah.
That's the place you have to be there, and like you have to share your thoughts. And also, I think more than a resume, your LinkedIn profile matters a lot.
Oh yes, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I forgot to mention that actually. Yeah, I when I was spending time working on my resume, I was also updating my LinkedIn profile and making sure everything was filled out, and I had used every possible space to sell myself and to sell to show all the skills that I had at the time. But yeah, I know a lot of people on LinkedIn who they get job offers just based on their LinkedIn profile, based on the content that they post every week. I get my good friend, my LinkedIn bestie Jeremy.
Jeremy.
He did the same thing. He
I'm
pumps
definitely
out
going to get
content.
him for one of our guest speaker sessions.
Please do. Yeah,
I'm
he's
definitely going to
amazing.
get him.
So he pumps out content like I can't keep up. He's always encouraging me to write more, but yeah, and I'm getting there. I'm getting there slowly. Some weeks are good and I get more out, and some weeks no, and then some weeks I just need to take a break from social media. So, but yeah, if you can, it makes a big difference when you start posting. You just make a goal to write something once a week about your knowledge of Agile or Scrum. You'll start getting attention. You'll start getting followers. When recruiters look at your LinkedIn profile, they can see the posts that you've made, and they can see how knowledgeable you are. They can see other people liking your stuff and following you, and they can see your interactions, and it all works so well for you when it comes to looking for a new job. And even if you're not looking for a job right now, it's something that you should just do consistently. And then when it comes time that you want to move on, you've already got this whole network set up, and it's going to make life easier. So that's how Jeremy just recently got 2 job offers, and 100% based off his LinkedIn profile. So
absolutely, creating that personal branding is very important.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's for me, it's been a lot of fun because I've met, I've connected with a lot of people, but I've had more like close relationships with a few people, and that really helped me, especially when I started out and I was looking for jobs, and it was all so new to me. To have that kind of support made a big difference. So that emotional support and people telling me, you're going to get this. You're doing. I love your posts. You're doing really well. Keep at it. You're going to get there. Yeah, made the biggest difference. So, I can't recommend it enough. Connect with people. See how you can help them. You might not realize how helpful you can be to them. Do that. Really, really important. Oh, there's another question.
Yes, Mudassir, sorry, just to add to this, I mean, before I get to your question, so I look at it this way. So when we graduate from the colleges or whatever universities, right? So we don't have any experience. What we have is all our degree or whatever, the certification or passing certificate, right? So that is the basis for us to get into this job professional world, so to say.
Yeah.
So that is the only way that we can get. But after we get into the industry and we have some experience of sorts, I mean, of anything, right? What we do is, I mean, or what we can do is we can share our knowledge. So after you get into this industry, no one looks at your credentials in terms of getting the certification, how much percentage you got, or what were your scores and all of that. So only thing people rely upon is your knowledge. And I think LinkedIn is the best place to showcase your knowledge, share, learn from others. And trust me, many of the hiring managers, even I'm from the interview panel, so I conduct interviews. I've been doing that for many years now. So whenever a resume comes to me, I go through their LinkedIn profile, because from there we get to see, as you rightly mentioned, we get to see how knowledgeable the person is. So no one is going to get your see your score, how much did you score in your graduation, or how well did you do in your last job, how much I mean, how many certifications do you have, and all of those things. Only that matters is your knowledge and the experience.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. LinkedIn's so great for that, for showing how knowledgeable you are. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, Mudassir, you had a question.
Yeah, so it was not more like a question. Just wanted to share a bit of my story as well
Yes,
on the same
please.
lines, because I happen to be fortunate through LinkedIn as well. So when I moved into Melbourne, I was looking all over the place for jobs and stuff like that in the same role of Scrum Master or an Agile coach, and happened to be more active on the LinkedIn and posting and things like that. And that really does wonders, to be honest. And, the way people connect with you, they understand. So my observation or my take on this is that one is the knowledge. The second is how inclined are you to the role and how dedicated are you for that particular
Passionate.
profession. That is what people look for. And when somebody goes to your resume, they understand you come with A, B, C, all of those things, and you fit in perfectly. But when they go to your LinkedIn profile, they see your true side of it. That okay, you're talking about this thing. What is your dedication? What is your passion? So that really helps, and gives a kind of a flavor to the organization or the hiring managers, so that they understand. Okay, he's really serious, and he's really focused in that area, and he's committed in that sense. So yeah, I totally second to that point you both just highlighted, and it really adds value, I feel, to the application, as well as our own connect within the community. When we are connected in that space of Scrum and Agile, we talk to each other, we kind of have that bonding, and we share our problems, we talk about our understanding, how we deal with those situations. That really help all of us to grow as an individual, I feel. Yeah.
Yes. So Mudassir, next time we want to see you more active on LinkedIn in terms of sharing your experience and knowledge per se.
Yeah.
I know you've been asking me to do that. Definitely, I'll try and do my bit as well. Thanks for calling that out.
Uh, yes, Philadelphia, one more thing from my end is that what were the challenges that you faced while you were preparing for this role or giving out that interview? Because I mean, what you achieved is a big feat, right? So you mentioned that you had like 6 offers, starting from nothing. I mean, no knowledge to reaching to a point where you have received like 6 offers and then picking up the best one, and now being on the other side of the table where you are interviewing others, it's like a big thing, right? So what were the challenges that you faced in preparation
Yeah.
and for
I
interview?
Okay, yeah, no, I actually I didn't get 6 offers. I had about 3, but
Okay.
yeah, I interviewed with 6 companies.
Okay.
So I think the challenges were, I think the biggest challenge was just um, getting over myself, just um, just telling myself that I could actually do this. Yeah, I think that was the thing that made me nervous, was just because, like, oh my god, I haven't actually done this role. I haven't worked in tech. I haven't done, felt like the things that I was missing. And the struggle is like when you're submitting like tons of applications and you're not hearing back, or you're getting rejection letters. So to keep going, even though you're not getting anywhere near the result you want, even though you're getting rejected, even though that, I think that's the hardest part. That's the biggest challenge, is to just say, you know what, I just did the worst interview of my life, but I'm gonna keep trying.
Yes.
Yeah, I had an
Having
interview.
patience is
Yeah,
also
yeah, oh
another
yeah,
thing.
oh, patience, yeah, yeah. I think even at the time, um, I guess, when did I start? If I started that interview in April, then had an offer in July. Yeah. I think I was, interviewing over 2-3 months before I got like uh, took an offer, and then I decided to start in August. And yeah, I think my boyfriend at the time was a little bit worried, so at how long it had taken, but I had known other people who took like 6 months, a year to finally get that job and to break into something. So I wasn't worried. I was thinking, like, the long haul. I was thinking this could take a year, so I wasn't even.
Yeah.
So I had the patience. So I was like ready for it, but it's still hard to deal with. Yeah. So it makes you
Yes.
feel anxious, but you just got to push through. You just got to do it. You just got to realize there are people already doing this job that don't have what I have, or they don't have the the experience that I have. But they don't have the do this, and I could be one of them. And just keep going.
So, just asking one question out of curiosity. So, when you say you had like some of the worst interviews, so if you don't mind sharing, was it like people not being open for you coming from a non-technical background? They were not acceptable, or what exactly went wrong? If you don't mind sharing that with us.
Okay, yeah, no, great question. So, okay, I'd say I had 2 interviews that weren't great. One of them, totally was not on me. It was the interviewer. So showed up like an hour late. Was an hour late, and I thought it might have been a time difference, and then like a time zone miscommunication or something, and then she told me basically no, it wasn't, and she didn't apologize for being late, and then she told me basically that she didn't think I was experienced enough, and I was like, yeah, whatever. You're an hour late, and then you tell me I'm not good enough. So that didn't deter me. But the one that kind of made me nervous was, so it was an interview where there were 2 interviewers, and they kind of did this good cop, bad cop thing. But they were both kind of bad cop. Like, so they were instead of like having a kind of conversation with me, trying to get to know me, they were kind of interrogating me. They were like trying to find what I didn't know. And
people can be really rude.
Yeah, it was. It was.
Yeah, I know.
Like I didn't answer a question very as about Kanban as detailed as they wanted, and they were like, "But you've got Kanban resume. Why don't you know these?" Like, they were really like sticking it to me.
Yeah.
I was just really overwhelmed, and I think even at the end of the interview, one of the interviewers asked me, "How do you feel? You seem a bit overwhelmed." And yeah, so I didn't get the next interview. Like, even if I did, I don't think I would have like continued with them. I just had such a bad experience, and like, God, there's no way I want to work with those people. Yeah.
But you did not get through that interview.
Sorry.
It's good that you did not get through that interview. Otherwise, it would have been an even more tougher job for you to perform.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't have enjoyed that at all. And that's why, like, the company that I work for now, when I had my first interview with them, I was like, I really hope I get it, like, because I just had a really good rapport with them from the beginning. They were they're really nice, really cool, made me feel comfortable, made sure that I was comfortable during it, and and that's definitely what you want.
Yeah. Thanks for answering that. The only reason I asked, maybe for folks on our call, it can help us, to prepare for those tough moments, and what sorts of questions can come our way. We can definitely be more prepared. So yeah, that's the whole idea behind that question. Yeah, thank you.
And I'm sure people watching this video, sorry to cut you.
No,
so I'm sure after I put out this video, there would be people who would be watching. I mean, people who couldn't join the call today, but they would be definitely watching it after I have uploaded it. And I'm sure people would be looking forward for such questions, which I mean, that's the reason why even Mudassir might have asked this. So it would be really helpful for those. I mean, I'm sure people would learn a lot from this journey.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you.
Okay. Any other question from anyone? Anyone would like to ask anything?
Can I be again the one who's asking too many questions? I'm so sorry to do that.
No problem.
You did mention about ADF, right? At one point in time, I was thinking of doing an ADF, the Agile facilitation one. So, what was your takeaway from that course? I mean, I'm a bit in two minds. Is it worth going for it, or should we not? So, could you share that experience with us, if you don't mind?
like, if I'm honest, there wasn't a lot in the course that I felt like was brand new information to me.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I think I'm just, I guess, I don't know. I mean, like, sort of Scrum and Agile has kind of become my passion, and I'm always reading about it and I'm always learning about it. So
Yeah.
from that perspective, like, it wasn't great. I'm interested. I think I'm more interested in doing the next level up, which is the Agile
Right.
coach thing. I think that'll
Right.
be beneficial for me. But
Mm.
for me, it was great because I did it with all the Scrum Masters at the company, and with Scrum Masters that, like, I don't actually work with. It's from a different
Right.
domain. So for me, it was really cool to just meet up with other Scrum Masters and hear their points of view and their stories. And I guess
Got
if
it.
you do that, you know what, I think that was the most valuable thing about it. And if you do that course, you'll do it like with a group. I think the most valuable thing is like listening to the other Scrum Masters or Agile coaches in the group and hearing their experiences and how they dealt with things.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess that's the whole point, is facilitation. That the facilitator, the instructor is actually facilitating, and you
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
the chance to hear all of that.
Got it.
And that we, got to do a lot of exercises together and things like that. Maybe I'm trying to think of. It was a bit kind of basic, but yeah, good to hear from other people's perspectives.
Understood.
Had some fun energizers that I hadn't yet used, so I'll be wanting to do more of that in future Scrum events and things like that. For me, I did enjoy it, and I look forward to doing the next level up.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thanks for answering that. Yeah.
Okay, so I think we are just 5 minutes away, and before letting you go, Philadelphia, I would like to hear about, or I would like you to talk about Agile Women Wednesday. How can we let you go before without talking that about that? So can you share something about AWW, and how did you get this idea of bringing something like this and encouraging women in Agile, because we know that there are very less women in this space, and when you had first started this, and we know that, I mean, how much traction did we get from all the unexpected people, and also I mean, from Scrum Alliance also, you got a message and all of that. So that was really a good start, I must say. And how did this idea struck you, and what was your thought process behind bringing this AWW?
Well, it just came from me noticing that a lot of the voices on LinkedIn, a lot of the Agile coaches and or people working Agile, a lot of those thought leaders are all men. Because when I was on LinkedIn, like, I wanted to follow all the people who were writing about Agile and learn from them, and then I just realized, oh, it's mostly men, and I get that tech is still predominantly men. So it's like not surprising, but I just wanted to hear from more women, and I wanted to, be inspired and feel like I can do this. And so I just started, I just started doing this post every Wednesday on LinkedIn, Agile Women Wednesday. And I just wanted to connect with more women and have them connect as well, and to hear their thoughts, and I wanted to know their perspectives on different topics in Agile. So I started on every Agile Women Wednesday, so everybody can answer the prompt, like it might be, name an Agile anti-pattern and how you would solve that, or what makes a good facilitator, for example. So something to do with Agile, and then yeah, it's been great every week. Get really thoughtful answers. Get people really put some thought and effort into it, and I've learned a lot from it. And you know, the things that I've learned, I've actually gone to implement in my job. So that's really cool. Yeah.
Your prompts are just amazing. I mean, really a great pointers for the conversations, I must say. Those are really good. I mean, there is a lot of I'm sure that there is a lot of brainstorming or maybe thought process that people put in to just answer your prompts. So that's a really great one, great idea, I must say. And apparently and clearly, it's like it's a, as you rightly mentioned, it's a more like male dominating, not saying this just because of some anything about gender equality, this or that. Even in this call, if you notice, apart from both of us, there is only one female participant, that is Rohita. So rest everyone is are males, right? So that's how it is. I mean, yes, and such initiatives really help and motivate us to come forward and share our thoughts and share our journeys.
Yeah, and if you want to be, if you're not a woman or don't identify as a woman, you can also just, if you want to show support, you can share the post, and or write about something that you saw one of the women write about, like share your thoughts on that and tag them and get them into the conversation. You know, start more conversations like that. So that would be really great. Honestly, the prompts the prompts usually come from something that I'm struggling on that week. and I put the question in there, and then I get all these answers. I'm like, great, I know what to do now. But sometimes it's about what I'm learning at that moment, or So that's the what's behind that. Yeah.
That's a great idea, actually, to seek answers. I mean, the way you put it, that is a very good idea. Now we know that secret.
Yeah, that's sneaky, but yeah. So yeah.
All right. I think we are perfectly on time. Thank you so much, Philadelphia, for accepting this and sharing your journey with all of us. And I'm sure there are a lot of learnings from this session today. And please continue doing what you're doing in the agile space, in AWW space, and looking forward for more such initiatives and more women in this space. And thank you very much once again for always featuring me. And we would look forward for more sessions from you and learning from you. And before I close, thank you everyone for joining and wish you a very happy Diwali.
Thank you. All the very best. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.